She is no longer in the league because she not only got let go by the Chicago Sky, she has been let go by the New York Liberty, and she's crying online about it.
Getting waived is crazy because, like, what do you do after you get waived?
Caitlin Clark just got the biggest shock of her rookie season. Diamond DeShields has been suspended after what many are calling a vicious, unnecessary attack. But this isn't just about one foul. This might be the moment that defines the WNBA's future.
So Caitlin Clark played against the Chicago Sky just there, and we're pretty confident that she got cheap shotted, and there is a sequence of plays that's crazy, and it leads to Caitlin Clark basically telling her team, is it Erica Wheeler, that she wanted to fight Diamond DeShields.
What led to this explosive suspension? Why is the league suddenly cracking down on violence now? And most importantly, is Diamond DeShields' career in danger? From the second Clark entered the WNBA, she had a target on her back. Every veteran wanted a piece of her. Every team wanted to humble her.
And this is what Angel Reese says here.
Personal. Now it's starting to...
She gets a different whistle. Now, I'm going to talk a little more about that in another video.
But no one expected it to go this far. No one thought it would end with a suspension that's shaking the league.
This is what happened in one of the possessions. This is like, again, a nothing call, really. So if you're watching what happened here, Diamond DeShields, Caitlin Clark is trying to cut in this position right here, and Diamond DeShields just body checks her. Like, it's a foul. Nothing more, nothing less. It is an off-the-ball foul. She just body checked Caitlin Clark as she's trying to move. It's nothing. It's basketball. It's basketball.
It happened fast, almost too fast to believe. 1 second, Caitlin was doing what she always does, running the floor, pushing the tempo, putting on a show. The next, she was hit hard. Not a simple foul, not a basketball play. A hit that left fans in shock and social media on fire.
Is what happens the next possession. And we've all seen it. We've all seen what happened the next possession. Caitlin Clark gets hit from behind. It looks so much worse at other angles. That angle cuts off just how bad, egregious it was from Diamond DeShields. And Caitlin Clark jumps up.
The cameras caught it. The fans saw it. And now the WNBA has responded. Diamond DeShields is out, suspended. Her return date, unknown.
The league is getting rid of the Caitlin Clark haters. DJ Currency better move on eggshells, bro. She's the only one left. She is no longer in the league, crying online about it.
But that's not the only story. Some say this was personal, that DeShields wasn't just trying to stop Clark, she was trying to send a message. Others believe it was a breakdown in discipline, that the pressure of guarding the most hyped rookie in league history finally broke her.
Here's Clark, gets down by DeShields, and Clark's going to shoot too.
Trying to slow her down, picking her up at midcourt. Trying to get the offensive foul call, but didn't give her the time and space.
And while Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken publicly yet, her body language told the world everything it needed to know. She was stunned, shaken, and maybe, just maybe, ready to fight back.
And then, like, people are lip reading right here. People are lip reading. And this is what we can see in the lip read from Caitlin Clark. And I want to effing punch her effing face. I think every single, like, lip reading is one thing. Every single person knew what this lip read was. I want to effing punch her effing face. She's not happy.
This is the boiling point that the WNBA has been racing toward all season. It started with hard fouls. It turned into trash talk. Now it's become suspensions. And here's where it gets even crazier.
Caitlin Clark is not happy at all with this. And the funniest part is like, again, I don't know what's going on with this guy. I just don't know what's going on. Like, it looks intentional. And we all know that the possession after this, Caitlin Clark got undercut. She got Zaza Pachulia. We watched the game. We all saw that. And now we're seeing Caitlin Clark go at these players. And I'm going to talk about it more in a video. Like, she does not care. Like, as soon as she went to the bench, the first thing she did, she kind of looked around, smirked, and hyped up the crowd. And I'm like, man, Caitlin Clark is that psycho.
Fans are split. Some say DeShields went too far. Others claim Caitlin Clark is just too soft for this league. The debate is getting uglier by the hour.
Man, oh man, when Caitlin Clark does something, everybody celebrates. When Caitlin Clark does something, there is no jealousy.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, insiders are already whispering, could this suspension derail Diamond DeShields' entire career? She was supposed to be a comeback story, a spark off the bench, a veteran presence. But now she's trending for all the wrong reasons. And that's just the beginning. Because once you hear what WNBA officials reportedly told league insiders, you'll understand why this moment could change everything. Not just for Diamond, not just for Caitlin, but for the entire WNBA. So what really happened during that play? What led to the suspension? And what does this mean for the future of Clark and DeShields?
She assaulted Caitlin Clark on the court right before Caitlin Clark came off the court with 3:52 left.
Let's go back to the moment everything changed. It was late in the second quarter. Indiana was down by 6. Caitlin Clark had just nailed a deep 3. The crowd erupted. Momentum was shifting. That's when Diamond DeShields checked in. From the jump, her body language said it all. Aggressive, locked in. Some say angry. She was glued to Clark. No space, no breathing room. That kind of physical defense usually gets praise. But what came next shocked everyone. Caitlin cut through the lane expecting a screen. Instead, she got leveled. The replay spread like wildfire.
This could have started a brawl. If this happened in men's basketball, like, that is not too dissimilar to, again, sorry, the Kennedy Carter thing was literally the Jokic on Marcus Morris situation. Like, if you do that, what she did to Caitlin Clark in an NBA game, it starts a brawl. Like, if what happened to Caitlin Clark happens in the NBA game, it starts a brawl. And in fairness, Caitlin Clark wanting to fight is the least that could happen, especially because she felt they went for her ankles earlier in the game. Like, thank God Caitlin Clark is made of rubber.
DeShields didn't go for the ball, she went for Caitlin. Elbow up, no attempt to pull back. The ref's whistle was immediate, but the reaction from fans was instant rage. Social media called it a cheap shot.
Caitlin Clark gets hit from behind. It looks so much worse at other angles. That angle cuts off just how bad, egregious it was from Diamond DeShields. And Caitlin Clark jumps up and runs away from Diamond DeShields. Like, that is still one of my favorite clips ever. She gets clearly cheap shot, and someone after cheap shot is like, oh, sorry.
Pundits called it dirty, but players, that's where it got real. WNBA vets started chiming in. Some defended DeShields, saying, that's how you welcome a rookie.
As the lovely Lee Ross always says, women in sports do not want to see other women in sports succeed. It's just the way they're built.
Others warned that the league can't allow intent to injure. Therefore, by morning, the WNBA made a move no one expected: official suspension.
Getting waived is crazy because, like, what do you do after you get waived? I got all my stuff up here that I drove in a rental car from Atlanta, and now I have to drive all my stuff back to Atlanta, but I can't seem to find a rental car because none are available anywhere. So I need to figure out how I'm gonna get my stuff back to Atlanta. The team will ship 3 to 5 boxes, but I have more than 3 to 5 boxes worth of stuff.
Now here's where the story explodes, because behind closed doors, league sources say this wasn't just about the foul. This was months in the making. Think about it. Caitlin Clark has drawn record crowds. She's driven up ticket sales. She's the face of the league before even playing 10 games. And that's created tension with veterans who've spent years being overlooked. Therefore, every hard foul, every shove, every sneaky elbow wasn't just about defense. It was personal. Clark represented change, fame, and attention some vets never got. And that includes Diamond DeShields. Remember, DeShields was once a top 3 draft pick. She had hype. She had the spotlight. but injuries and inconsistency dimmed her star. This year, she's trying to make a comeback.
Diamond DeShields actually getting waived from the Connecticut Sun just one day prior to tomorrow's May 16th WNBA 2025 season tip-off. She looks heartbroken and in pain, with the news of her being waived from the Connecticut Sun.
Proof she still belongs. But when the league starts revolving around a rookie, when your minutes shrink and the cameras move to someone else, that kind of spotlight shift creates resentment. So ask yourself, was this really just a foul? Or was this DeShields snapping under pressure? Now, here's where it gets messy. According to an anonymous WNBA executive, there were talks inside the league about setting a precedent. The quote, "We can't let this spiral into another bad headline." That tells us everything. The suspension isn't just about player safety, it's about optics, about protecting the league's biggest investment, Caitlin Clark.
If you are not producing, if you're not giving them what they need, if you're not putting them stats up, if you ain't putting up no numbers, you're gonna be out of a job. Again, look what just happened to Haley Jones. She just was on Instagram the other day, excited about closing on a home. The very next day, the Atlanta Dream just cut her.
But that raises even more questions. If Caitlin is being protected by the league, does that confirm what some vets have been whispering all along? That the rules are different for her, that she's being shielded while others are left to fight for relevance? Or is this simply what happens when a superstar is born?
When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! That's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league right now. Are you kidding me?
Because here's the twist. Diamond DeShields might be the villain today, but some believe she's actually the victim of the league's obsession with Clark. Overshadowed, outshined, forgotten. Therefore, this moment isn't just about one play or one player. It's about the divide growing inside the WNBA. Veterans versus rookies, old guard versus new face, survivors versus superstars. And unless something changes fast, this drama won't be the last. The WNBA has made its decision. Diamond DeShields is suspended. The message is clear. There's a line you can't cross even in a league built on toughness. But the damage might already be done. DeShields has now become the face of the backlash against Caitlin Clark, not by choice, but by circumstance. Her name will forever be tied to that moment, that hit, that decision. And while she may serve her time and return to the court, the narrative has already shifted.
We saw her get clocked in the shoulder. We saw her getting shoulder charge in the jaw 2 days ago. And she's been hit with 3 flagrant fouls in the last 2 games she's played. She's actually been hit with 3 flagrants in the last 2 games. It's wild. And you know what? I wouldn't mind if the suspension doesn't carry over to the playoffs and something like this happens later in the regular season to see her go and get herself chucked from a game. It actually wouldn't. I wouldn't hate it. As long as it doesn't hurt her in the playoffs, I would not hate her going and get herself chucked from a game if she gets foul flagrantly again.
Commentators aren't talking about her comeback anymore. They're talking about whether she lost control, whether she let jealousy or frustration take over, whether this single play has rewritten her story. But Caitlin Clark, she's moving forward. In the very next game, Clark dropped 26 points, dished out 9 assists, and reminded everyone exactly why she's the most watched player in women's basketball. She didn't flinch. She didn't retaliate. She responded the only way she knows how, by dominating. Therefore, fans are now asking a different question. If Caitlin can take this much punishment and still deliver night after night, who's really being exposed here? The league suspended DeShields, but it also protected Caitlin. And while some argue that's what superstars deserve, others say it confirms their worst fear, that this league is no longer a level playing field, that media hype now matters more than legacy, that the WNBA has picked its side. But what if that's exactly what the league wants? A new era, a new villain, a new heroine. Conflict sells, drama gets clicks, and the battle between the old and the new is the storyline that won't die. So as Diamond DeShields watches from the sidelines, she's not just dealing with a suspension, she's dealing with a reputation shift, a role she never asked for, but one she might have to own moving forward. Because in today's WNBA, you're either part of the spotlight or you're trying to break through it. And breaking through sometimes gets ugly. Therefore, ask yourself this: did Diamond DeShields lose control? Or did she just reveal what every veteran has been thinking? This wasn't just a hit on Caitlin Clark. This was a shot fired at the league's new direction. And the fallout, that's only just begun.
I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened.
This wasn't just a game. This was a statement, a battle, a brawl in sneakers. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. The moment the entire WNBA had circled in red. And what happened next will shock you. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just win. She dominated. She humiliated. And just when the dust seemed to settle, a flagrant foul, a heated standoff, and a stare down at half court sent the entire league into chaos. But let's rewind. This was supposed to be a celebration of women's basketball, a marquee matchup between the league's two most polarizing rookies. One is the golden girl of the WNBA, the face of the fever, the player ESPN cannot stop talking about. The other, a self-proclaimed queen of the paint, ready to shut Clark down by any means necessary. Yet what we got was something far more intense than anyone expected. From the opening tip, the tension was obvious. The crowd knew it. The broadcasters felt it. Every possession had a little extra push, a little extra shove. Caitlin Clark buried a three from the logo just minutes into the first quarter, and you could almost feel the fuse light. But the biggest explosion, that came later in a moment so wild, so raw, the cameras couldn't look away. After a missed shot and a fight for a rebound, Clark and Reese tangled in a way that had the entire arena on its feet. The result? A flagrant foul, a viral highlight.
The on-court ruling of a personal foul on Caitlin Clark has been upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty 1.
And a question that fans are still debating. Did Angel Reese cross the line? And here's the twist. While everyone was focused on the drama, Caitlin Clark quietly made history. She delivered a triple-double, her first ever in the WNBA. 10 assists, 10 rebounds, and points. More than enough. While Reese jawed and flexed, Clark passed, scored, and led her team to an overwhelming 35-point blowout win. So now, the media is split. Some say Reese got exposed. Others say the foul was a message, a sign that Clark won't be allowed to run this league unchecked. But everyone agrees on one thing. This rivalry is far from over. Therefore, if you think this was just another regular season matchup, think again. What happened between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese might change the WNBA forever, not just because of the final score, but because of what it revealed about two of the league's biggest stars. And by the end of this story, you'll understand exactly why this feud is about more than basketball. It's about legacy, power, and who gets to own the spotlight in the new era of the WNBA. From the very first possession, this wasn't basketball. This was war. And the first shot fired, it came from Caitlin Clark. With the sky up early, Clark was fouled on a hard drive to the rim.
Here's Clark working through some contact. Clark diving in, gets the whistle.
She didn't flinch, just stepped to the line, nailed both free throws, and stared down the Chicago bench. No celebration, just cold confidence. But that was only the beginning. Moments later, Angel Reese came crashing through the lane. Elbows out, shoulders lowered. She bullied her way to the rim and sent a message with a tough layup in traffic.
Clark excelled a season ago.
Angel Reese dives in and finishes through the contact.
The arena shifted. You could feel it. This was more than a game. This was personal. But Clark responded like she always does, with a three from way beyond the arc. Splash. Net didn't even move, and the stare she gave after? Ruthless. That shot didn't just tie the game, it flipped the momentum and it set a tone. Therefore, this battle became less about team strategies and more about who could outshine the other. Kelsey Mitchell joined the firefight, scoring on tough jumpers.
Here's Mitchell, will fire, and hit from three.
But everything and everyone seemed to orbit around Clark and Reese. Every time Clark hit a jumper, Reese muscled her way to the rim. Every time Reese scored in the paint, Clark pulled up from the perimeter and drilled another dagger.
So many different places on the floor. Clark, little mid-range, is good.
But something snapped in the second half. A rebound bounced high off the rim. Both Clark and Reese went for it. Arms tangled, hands fought. And then, it happened. Clark ripped at the ball with pure aggression. Reese held tight. The two locked eyes. Neither backed down. And the arena exploded. Replay showed it clearly. Reese shoved Clark's teammate before the scrum, and Clark saw it. That's what lit the fire.
That Angel took exception to. So initially, Angel pushes Natasha Howard. Caitlin Clark points out the no call. Then she applies a hard foul on Reese. Reese gets up right away to get in the face of Clark.
This wasn't some overreaction. It was retaliation. Clark stood up for her teammate the only way she knows how, with grit, fire, and zero hesitation. Therefore, the refs hit Reese with a flagrant one. The internet divided. Some said Clark flopped. Others praised her intensity, but no one could deny the electricity that moment brought. And through all of this chaos, Clark kept playing her game. She hit another deep three.
Here's Clark firing and hitting.
She dished out assist after assist. She ran the offense with poise most rookies can only dream of. Meanwhile, Reese was clearly frustrated. Her body language shifted. She missed close-range shots. She argued with refs.
Banham flicks it ahead. Reese goes in.
And with every Clark basket, the gap on the scoreboard widened. But it wasn't just about the points. It was about control. Clark had it. Reese lost it. And by the fourth quarter, the Sky were in free fall. Chicago's defense broke down. Indiana kept feeding Clark, and she kept delivering. A hesitation dribble. Step back three.
4 seconds left. Clark fires. You bet!
Splash. Crowd goes wild, and with just over a minute to play, Clark launched another bomb from deep.
Here's Clark firing.
Back-to-back threes that silenced the haters and sealed the win. Therefore, this wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Caitlin Clark didn't just beat Angel Reese, she exposed her. The difference in composure, skill, and leadership was undeniable. And just when it seemed like the rivalry had reached its peak, something else happened. With the final buzzer echoing through the arena, the scoreboard told one story. Indiana Fever, 93, Chicago Sky, 58. But the real story? That was playing out off the court. Because while Caitlin Clark walked off the floor with a triple-double and the spotlight firmly on her, Angel Reese was left staring into space, frustrated, furious, and maybe, just maybe, outmatched. The moment went viral. Cameras caught Reese refusing to shake hands. Clark, calm and collected, walked back to the bench, barely reacting. Reporters asked about the flagrant foul. Reese brushed it off.
Just what you saw on that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, right?
Clark didn't take the bait.
You got the flagrant, Aaliyah, you got a technical. What could have happened there?
If you got the tech? I know. Wait, what? I got the tech? No, I did not.
Oh,
first of all.
I know.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line. I'd rather give up 2 points. I watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, this wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. It shouldn't have been upgraded, but again, that's up to the ref's discretion. But I appreciate AB having my back. I guess I don't even know what she did. I didn't see that. Well, girl, have fun playing that fine. Can I get out? Can you? I got it. No worries.
But fans did. Social media exploded. Yarshar Clark vs. Reese was trending in minutes. Some called Clark soft, others said Reese was reckless. And then came the hot takes. Former players, analysts, even celebrities jumping into the debate. Everyone had an opinion, but no one had the full story. Because here's what most people missed. When the two tangled for that rebound, the replay revealed something subtle but game-changing. Angel Reese shoved Natasha Howard before Clark ever jumped in. That moment wasn't about ego or attitude. It was about loyalty. Clark saw her teammate get hit. She saw no whistle. And she acted. Therefore, what looked like a petty fight was actually something much deeper. It was Clark doing what leaders do, protecting her team and sending a message. We're not backing down. And this is where the narrative shifts. For months, critics have questioned whether Caitlin Clark could survive in the WNBA. Too flashy, too soft, too hyped. But this game, this blowout, flipped all of that on its head. Not only did Clark dominate statistically, she showed toughness, leadership, and fire. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, for all her talk and swagger, couldn't match Clark's poise, couldn't control the game, couldn't stop the bleeding. But don't get it twisted. This story isn't over, not even close. Because the next time these two meet, the pressure will be even higher, the spotlight even brighter, and the stakes personal. The league wants this rivalry, the fans demand it, and every player in that locker room knows when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese share the court, it's not just about basketball, it's about who controls the future of the WNBA. So here's the question, did Caitlin Clark just take the crown? Or is Angel Reese about to come back stronger than ever?